Welcome to BaytBushra. I'm Bushra and this is my home. Today we are making sfeeha. This is my favorite sfeeha recipe. Quick story. So 2 years ago I was in Jordan with my husband. That's where he's from. And I had a sudden craving for sfeeha, the Syrian sfeeha that I'm used to. So we searched high and low. We searched the whole city for it and we couldn't find any. But my husband took me to his uncle's butcher shop where I told them exactly what the ingredients were in sfeeha. And they made me a version similar to that, which they call Sfeeha, which is like a pita bread filled with the same mixture that I'm making today. And here's a picture of me in Jordan totally enjoying that. It was very delicious. So I've already gotten started and I have some tomatoes that I have pulsed in my processor, and this is 2 bowls on top of each other. This one is clear, obviously it's clear. This one has holes in it at the bottom and it's supposed to drain any extra juices from the mixture. You're going to blend or process each veggie by itself and then add it all together into this draining bowl. You don't want it to be juice, but you don't want it to be, you know, huge chunks either. So next I have the green pepper and I left a little bit of the seeds so that it's nice and spicy. You put that into here and pulse it. So that's what the green pepper looks like. We have the tomatoes and the green pepper and the onion, and I'm just gonna mix them all together. Next we have the meat. So what's important about the meat is you have to get it from the butcher guy. Because why? It's got to be ground beef that has been ground twice through the grinder. So how do you achieve this? You go to your local butcher shop and you ask for the ground beef stew, pick the leanest pieces, and then you ask the butcher to grind it through the machine twice. That's important. Why? Because number 1, you're not supposed to have much fat in this recipe. It's supposed to be very lean beef. Number 2 is that in order to spread this nicely on your bread or your tortilla, it needs to be already processed twice like that. So my beef is exactly like I told you. It's also frozen. All right, let me zoom you in and show you the rest of the ingredients. So here's my mixture so far. We also have some nuts. I have almonds because that's what I had with me. I prefer pine nuts. That's more authentic, but they're also more expensive. We have salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. Allspice and beef are great friends, so I'm gonna be nice and generous with this one. Next we have these 2. This is tahine or tahini, and this is yogurt. You can make your own tahine by grinding sesame seeds until they're paste. Think of like how you can make homemade peanut butter. And lastly, very important, is your dibis raman. This is pomegranate molasses. It's sour. If you don't have it near you, order it online via my website. Use the link I have there. This sfeeha is so flavorful, you guys. At this point, my sfeeha mixture looks like a whole bunch of blobness. It's just what it is. It's meat and spices and veggies. You need to let this mixture rest for 30 minutes. In that 30 minutes, the flavors are going to marinate together. It's going to also release any of the extra juices. You can make this mixture the day before and then leave it in the fridge overnight. That gives it extra time for the flavors to really get comfortable. So I'm gonna let this mixture rest in the fridge for 30 minutes and then we'll be back and we'll bake some sfeeha. Every 10 minutes you're gonna have to go back in and mix things around just to make sure that, you know, everything is draining properly. So you wanna just make sure everything stays moist and fresh. It's been a nice 30-ish minutes, and what I have now is I'm taking my sfeeha mixture out of the fridge and I have lined a baking sheet with some non-stick foil. If you don't have non-stick foil, use parchment paper. If you wanted to make this with a dough, like lahma bajin style, use your favorite pizza dough. My favorite pizza dough is the recipe that I have. I already made that recipe. Or you can use tortillas. Usually I use flour tortillas. Today I have corn tortillas, and that's because I wanted them to be smaller. Also, I have my oven preheated to 400, and I have my oven rack not at the very top, but like the second tier. We're gonna spread the sfeeha mixture on this, and then you're gonna bake for, I want to say 10-ish minutes, and then you're gonna broil it. And that's why I have it on the top, because my broil is at the top. Most broils are at the top. Why would I say that? You're just going to spread this nice and thin, because you have to remember that if your meat is too thick, your bread will burn. Just spread a very thin layer of meat on your sfeeha, take it to the edge while still leaving a little bit of crust. Here we have 6 pieces of sfeeha. So I'm gonna put these in the oven until the meat is completely cooked through without burning your tortilla. And that's where, you know, it's a little bit of gray area. Stay by your oven. This is what Sfeeha looks like. So what you do is you fold it and then you dip it in some yogurt. You eat it with yogurt because this is supposedly spicy and hot. You're supposed to eat it nice and hot and fresh. And the yogurt kind of calms everything down. Mmm, yummy. That is really yummy. A little bit dry, and I'll tell you where that's from. This is my first time using corn tortilla. It tastes good, but definitely it tastes way better with regular flour tortillas. Wow. So that was super delicious. I'm just gonna stack these and I'm gonna take them to my husband's work. We're gonna have a little lunch date. What you can do is, if you have extras like this, stack them on top of each other and put some parchment paper in between and freeze them. They freeze really, really well. And then that way, if you ever need Sfeeha emergency status, you just take them out of the freezer and then you reheat them in the oven until they're crispy again. I hope you liked this Sfeeha recipe as much as I did. If you did, let me know by giving me a thumbs up or leaving a comment in the section below. Share the video with your friends, make some Sfeeha at home, and I will see you next time, inshallah.